Bike lanes. Why are they so bad? Why don't they ever actually go anywhere that we want them to go to? These are the questions we're going to be exploring in a complainery and sort of superficial way in today's episode of this show. But we will come out of this pointless tirade with a couple things that you can actually do to make a difference in the world. Okay, part 1, city building. We did a bad job of building our cities. That's because in the early 1900s, somebody invented cars, and then we decided, like, damn, these are so cool. We are going to use them for everything and to get everywhere, and we are going to design our cities to allow us to drive all over the place. City of tomorrow, definitely cars, and we did that. Good job. I feel like this topic has been beaten to death by all the urbanists on YouTube, but basically we started designing our cities around getting everywhere in cars. So cars took over the roads. We used to have like all kinds of different things going on the roads. Kids playing, I don't know, jacks or whatever, and people selling produce, and mules walking around, and newspaper boys singing songs in New York.
Extra, extra!
And of course we made the roads bigger so that we could fit more cars into them, and wider so the cars could go faster, and it all seemed like a really great idea. But all those crazy cars going super fast all the time sort of made it scary and dangerous to ride bikes. But some people really love riding bikes. And those people eventually, at some point, maybe the 80s, 70s, I don't know when this started, and I don't care to look it up. But the bike people started showing up and being like, hey, we want to be able to use the roads too for our bike stuff. We bought all this spandex and these crazy road bikes, and they're made out of carbon fiber, and the wheels are really cool. And look at these weird shoes that we have to clip into the things so we can spin the wheels faster. We invested all this money and time into this thing, and like, we need a space to ride around. So the city leaders and planners and people were like, okay, yeah, we hear you. Okay, yes, you're taxpayers, calm down. Listen, how about this? What we're gonna do is we're gonna get some paint, and we're gonna paint like a little lane on the side of the car lanes that'll be just for you, and you can ride your 2-ounce carbon fiber death machine right next to the trucks and stuff. Like, you're just like a real boy on the real road. Look at that. Randy, get the paint. And bam, the problem was solved. And the bike guys rejoiced. They were so happy. There was a place for them to ride, kind of. Part 2, we half-ass it. Let's be honest. Most people, especially the people who are planning our transportation system, I don't know what that was. Cute dog. Don't see bikes, or even e-bikes yet, as transportation. And that's kind of the heart of this problem. The primary mode of transport in this country is SUVs, or crossover SUVs and trucks. People on bikes are sort of a secondary consideration. Most of the time, the city planning and the transportation people are just worried about like which minority neighborhood they should bulldoze to put the new freeway bypass through. Bikes are not a solution to a problem. They're like a thing that I guess we should include. But the bike people, I don't know if you noticed this, the bike people are pretty fanatical. They're really persistent. So we keep getting new bike lanes here and there. And every once in a while, one of the spandex guys gets into the city council and he starts just really going to town. It's almost all dudes. I'm gendering them because they're mostly dudes. There are, of course, bike women and transgender folks. Well, the city starts planning or like doing the bike lanes, and they're making an effort for this, but then they hit, like an intersection where the cars have to go in these lanes and stuff. And they're like, this is going to be tricky and expensive because all those cars have to fit in here, and we have to have this left turn lane so that people can turn more the faster. And so what they do is just end the bike lane. I'm sorry, there's not room for that right there. So you're gonna have to just die. Just merge, yeah. This will be fine. And you can't actually blame the city people and the transportation planners for making bike lanes that go to nothing, because I don't know if you've ever experienced a situation in your town where you remove a vehicle lane in favor of some bike infrastructure. You are going to get the most rabid, psychotic people in the world coming to like your house.
That's an angry mob.
If you're a city official, it's like peeing in a badger hole full of devil dust. That feels like a thing you don't really want to do. I think it's fair to say that American drivers, we are some of the most self-centered and entitled acting people on the whole of this planet when it comes to our car privilege. So like I am like, oh, I'm a total bike guy until you do something to like my road right here. Then all of a sudden I have a pitchfork in my hand and I can't tell, like, wow, how did that happen?
Part 3. Possible hope?
Will we ever really fix this problem? Will we stop having bike lanes that just end abruptly or just meander around the city in a nice loop? The main lesson of history is that humans don't learn anything from it ever. But optimistically, there's like this movement of annoying urbanists on YouTube and people like Jane Jacobs who have written books that are starting to seed themselves into the general consciousness. It's like, oh, well, our main solution to traffic problems for the last ever has been just adding more lanes and more roads. But it kind of seems like the roads are getting really, really big and traffic continues to sort of be bad. And maybe the law of diminishing marginal returns, the law of diminishing marginal returns, that's a thing that's real, applies to this scenario. That when you add a new lane, it's good, and then you add another lane and it's pretty good, and you add another lane and it's okay, and then you add another lane and it's like, well, I feel like we haven't made much of a difference here, and we have to bulldoze a whole nother neighborhood of immigrants to do this next one, which is fine, but also I'm not sure that this lane is going to get us that much throughput, because everybody just filters onto the freeway now and smoothly spreads everywhere, just going the same speed, and I want to kill myself. There's a limit to the, expansion viability of solving this problem by more roadification. Eventually, we're just gonna have a big road that circles a giant tower, and that's all that there is left of our city. And that, I don't know, it seems dumb. Just think. Your city planning materials, I've read the ones for Phoenix. Very boring, let me tell you. But the predictions are, we're going to have more people, of course. And that is eventually going to slow down the transit times that we currently have going on all of our roads. And so we will, I guess, have to bulldoze the whole city and turn it into roads, like I was saying. Or do something else. Trains. So what I hope is that someday the cities of America, the transportation planners, and their devil spawn who follow in their footsteps will be like, maybe the bike people could just ride their bikes everywhere. What if we, instead of building loops to nowhere and little cute paths that they can ride around in their spandex, what if we made a nice way for them to just ride their bike over to the grocery store and back, or to the office, or to the movie theater, so that they could just not drive? If you want to be part of the solution and change our country's trajectory from infinite highway full of drive-thrus to kind of a mishmash of different transportation options that sometimes feel fun and healthy, go to your local city council meetings and be annoying. Put on your spandex moose knuckle pants and get out there and advocate for the good of all mankind and womankind and bears, raccoons and dogs and other animals that get hit by cars, mule deer, walrus. Anyway, I hope you learned something today. The reason why bike lanes are generally bad and don't go anywhere or aren't consistently applied through the city is one, a lack of political will, two, a lack of, well, the stranglehold on infrastructure funding that's mandated by the federal government in a lot of cases, or by state laws that controls where the money is spent, and it's usually all dedicated to roads, and we should probably legislatively change that and advocate for change in Congress to fix that stuff so we can build more trains and bikes and stuff. And it's also because in many cases elected officials and general populace see bikes as recreation and not as transportation. But they are transportation, especially now that they have batteries and motors on them and you can just whiz around at like 27 miles an hour, which is basically as fast as you can get anywhere in a car. And so we might as well just downsize everything and have like a chill, cool time with everybody high-fiving each other on bikes, okay? Please, for the love of God. Thanks, bye, I love you. If you want to see more of these videos because you liked this one for some reason, please indicate that in some way. Like subscribe, put a like, make a comment. I don't know what I'm doing, but I think that this might be it. So if you think that that's a good idea, I mean, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because I just like to talk. But if you like listening to me talk, which is weird, we could form a parasocial relationship, you and I, on the internet. And then we could have like this thing going on and you and me, you know, it could be, okay, bye.